Thank you so much for coming to Abundant Living Neurofeedback and Counseling. We are so grateful that you're here. We're so thankful that you've chosen us on your journey to health and healing. We believe that neurofeedback is the best kept secret in mental health, and we believe that we employ neurofeedback better than anyone else. We are dedicated to healing. We are dedicated to quality control, and we are dedicated to our clients. We want to see each person recover and have the fullest, most abundant life possible. In this video, you're going to be able to see the technical part of neurofeedback. You're going to see and understand how it works. You're going to have a good technical understanding of what it is from a scientific and psychological perspective, and you're going to be able to understand what you should expect out of the process, what the process looks like, what is the EEG, what does neurofeedback look like, and finally, what can you look forward to in terms of how and when you graduate from therapy. Neurofeedback has a lot of terminology that individuals are not accustomed to hearing. So one of the things that I often say is measuring or training, consolidation or acquisition. So let me explain. What that means when we are measuring, what that means is we are actually picking up the electrical signals from your cortex. So whether it be in an EEG or whether you're in a neurofeedback training session, you're going to be hooked up with leads and electrodes that are pulling the electricity from your scalp and measuring it through the database that we have. So that when I say measuring, we're talking about actual measuring electrical activity that's coming from your brain. When we talk about training, we're talking about the actual neurofeedback session. In that session where you're hooked up with leads, the computer is measuring and analyzing your activity in real time, and you're receiving the biofeedback training from the screen. When I talk about consolidation, what I mean is the brain's ability to memorize what we've been doing. It becomes the new normal. So consolidation is what we're going for. That's our end goal. In the training phase, however, we have what we call acquisition. The acquisition phase is where your brain is figuring out what it needs to do to normalize. It's figuring out how it needs to respond to the biofeedback in a way that is producing normalized activity. So just like riding a bike, when you are training, your brain is getting feedback cues, and what it knows is it wants to stay upright. So it's acquiring the ability to stay upright. It's acquiring the ability to figure out how to stay upright on the bicycle and not fall over. The consolidation phase of riding a bicycle is when you're on. Every time you get on, you're not wobbling, you're going forward, and you are absolutely certain that you're going to be able to go where you want to go and get there safely and effectively. Something we talk about a lot in neurofeedback is neuroplasticity. Neuroplasticity is the brain's ability to change. And neurofeedback enables the brain to create an unbelievable amount of neuroplasticity, far beyond what it would be able to do on its own. So as we're creating that change in the brain, we are, one, unlocking the stuck patterns that have kept the brain in a sometimes very painful state, and two, we're able to introduce normalization. So while the brain is creating this neuroplasticity and change, inside of that change we're also producing an overwhelming amount of normalization that's going to lead to reduction in symptomology and create more peace of mind and more harmony in the way the brain is functioning. The process we use to quantify electrical activity and to address the issues that are actually going on in each individual client's brain is through the QEEG. The QEEG is our way of measuring the entire spectrum of electrical activity in the individual's brain. It enables us to see exactly what's going on with each individual and then create what we call a brain map. So when you're doing the EEG, you're wearing an electrode cap. It's full of electrodes. We insert gel into the cap, and that gel actually, it's a conductive gel that pulls the electrical activity from the scalp through the electrodes and then into the computer. So the computer can analyze that information and compare it to the normative database and create a highly detailed brain map so that we have an incredible look, a very specific look at what your brain is doing that's causing you pain and suffering. One of the tools we have in neurofeedback is access to what we call the normative database. The normative database is a collection of hundreds of individuals who have brain maps that are asymptomatic. We are able to see what a brain looks like and how it's functioning without the symptoms of anxiety, depression, or PTSD. So we're constantly comparing your brain, whether it be in the EEG, where we're creating a brain map, or in the neurofeedback session where we're measuring and training your brain against the normative database. With neurofeedback, your brain is actually being read in real time and compared in real time to that normative database with over 300 different variables and being given feedback based on that normative database so that your brain can align with what we know is normal and optimal. The process of neurofeedback starts with the QEEG. The QEEG is where we measure exactly what's going on in the cortex of your brain. From that, we are able to see through our brain map the areas of the brain that are regulated, the areas of the brain that are dysregulated, and how that's contributing or causing your symptoms. After we've done the brain map, then we come to the table and we do the review of findings. You'll be sitting down with me personally. I'll be going over the brain map with you. This is a highly individualized process where I will be sitting down with you and showing you exactly what's going on in your brain and exactly what is holding up the issues that are causing you pain or frustration. This part is actually very therapeutic and it's exciting because it's like unveiling the invisible giant. You'll be able to look at your brain and see that it's not just all in your head, it is actually all in your brain. And I'll be able to share with you how that information relates to you, how it's affected you, and we're going to help you understand very specifically what neurofeedback is going to do in order to regulate those areas so that you can feel like you're living in a brain where you're definitely in the driver's seat, feeling like you are in charge of your thoughts, your feelings, and emotions, and being able to decide how you want to think and how you want to feel and how you want to react in any given situation. After we've gone over your brain map together, you are going to feel extremely validated. Validation is one of the greatest gifts that I believe comes from reviewing a brain map together because you can actually see what's going on in your brain and how it's been contributing to your symptoms. So after we go over the brain map together, I will be analyzing your brain map and I will be looking at the placements we're going to choose that I believe are going to be giving you the most effective, most efficient results possible. Neurofeedback is an art and a science. So throughout the process, we are going to be doing what we call the progress tracker. Every other session will have you sit down, we'll have you rate your issues on a scale of 1 to 10. And we also have a series of questions that will have you answer for us. All of that information is highly regarded in terms of we need to know how you're doing. We want you to be the scientist at home, bring those findings to us so that we can be the very best scientist we can be for you. So as we're measuring your progress and we're looking at the trajectory of how you're scoring yourself and making sure that you're improving in all of the areas that we're working in, we may fine-tune along the way a location or two that we feel like is going to bring a better push to bring you faster relief. Each time when you come to Abundant Living, you are going to be greeted by our incredible staff. I am so proud of the staff that we have. Every person here is here because they want to see people heal. One of your favorite parts of your experience here will inevitably be the relationships that you're going to form with the technicians that we have. They are incredible. Their heart and mind is to make sure that you are getting the care, the quality care that you deserve, and making sure that you are getting the progress that we want you to have. I let clients know that I have an open door policy. I'm not going to be the one you'll be seeing in the rooms. In our treatment rooms, you'll be seeing our incredible staff. However, at any time in the process, if you need to reach out to me or talk to me, I will be readily available. You can let our staff know, or you can let us know that you would like to speak with me, and I will be in touch with you very quickly. It is extremely important that you feel connected to the process, that you feel that I'm connected to you in terms of being able to make sure we are getting you the progress that you need to have in the time that we feel you should be getting it. We don't let anyone fall through the cracks. We want your communication. Your communication is vital and your communication is important to us because without your communication, we don't know how you're doing from week to week. We want to measure your progress as effectively as possible so that we can make sure if there's any fine-tuning we need to do on our part, that gets done for you so that you can get the very best possible care. When we begin your treatment, we will begin with your baseline brain map. We will also begin with your baseline assessments of yourself. So what we do is we do packages of 20 sessions of neurofeedback, where at the end of that package we will do another assessment. We'll begin with your initial EEG, your initial personal assessments that you'll do online, and we'll do all of that again at 20 sessions. Now, it's very important to note that 20 sessions is not time to graduate. 20 sessions is not enough time to get what we call consolidation or permanence of change. However, we do expect you to be feeling improvements within even a few sessions, 5 to 6 sessions at the very most. We're looking for you to be giving us feedback on changes that you're seeing. They'll be subtle, but they should also be certain. At the 20-session brain map review, we will be looking for what's improved. You'll have lots of improvements at 20 sessions. We're also looking for what's still outstanding. Let's say you come in with 4 or 5 different symptoms. We're going to be training all of those symptoms simultaneously. I don't have to pick and choose between attention issues or processing issues or anxiety or depression. Because of the technology that we have, I can work on all of those things together. So at the 20-session brain map review, I'm looking to see at how all of those things have improved together, and if there's anything that I can do based on your map and based on your feedback to fine-tune that process so that we can hone in even more definitely on any symptoms that are still outstanding. At 20 sessions, we always plan on going forward to the 40-session mark. 40 sessions is where we can depend on what I call consolidation or permanence. That's where your brain has had enough time to not only learn and practice and rehearse these new patterns in training and in treatment, but your brain has had enough time to actually bring those patterns in and make it part of its new normal.